Later.
11-year reunion. We just had it last weekend, and I really enjoyed having those that come, family and friends, and we had media there, and had some really good Dutch oven food cooked on the campfire.
Thanks, Arden.
And yeah, we had others. My son Arden cooked the Dutch oven. I cooked the biscuits. I got to brag on our biscuits.
Oh, that's some kind of sourdough. You've got two batches you've had your whole life, and this last one's 20 years old when you
Yeah,
lost it.
when we're talking about batches, we're talking about the sourdough start or whatever I always said the sourdough is not the carbon it's a vegetable, and so anyway, this sourdough start that I've made these biscuits on is over 20 years old. I've only had two starts in my life. One of them died, and now we started another. But anyway, it's 20 years old, so we made some biscuits, and uh, we had a good visit.
Yeah.
And we had several people there that witnessed the standoff in 2000.
14, and then at the trial, a lot of people. We really had the core supporters there. Some of the main folks that really made a difference.
Yeah, we had those that was at standoff, those that was in the trials, and those that came for the 1 year anniversary. There was a big party there. I sort of get mixed up on where all the parties were, but we had several parties right after the standoff, and then we had a 1 year anniversary. And we had thousands of people come both times, and we, had entertainment, talks, news, some films on the big screen, just big screens.
Yeah.
And we had Bundy beef, hamburgers. And this time, my wife cooked Bundy beef roast, and we had a roast. I hope everybody understands how good that.
Oh man, was. So tender. And then Arden took Bundy beef hamburger and Dutch oven, and we had salad, and the gals made some side dishes and whatnot. Now we took 5 days to plan this, so I was pretty happy. We had about 30 odd folks come out with such short notice, and then I received a lot of responses and wishing people that saying they wish they could be here, and of course needed more time to plan, but we really didn't want to try to put on a huge event, no. And I burdened you and Miss Carol quite a bit in asking you to do that, and I know y'all did it for me, and I really appreciate y'all.
But Vince. Vince definitely spurred us, and we sort of planned to have it on the last April, which is my birthday, and going to make a big deal out of it, but that just wasn't happening. And Vince came along, and we tried to find a date. It had to be within about 5 days, all we had to be able to do it, and so he put it together. It was good. I want to grab this newspaper article where you get a picture of that.
Okay.
So just hang on just a second.
So I didn't see the paper edition.
So this is out of RJ out of Las Vegas, Review Journal out of Las Vegas. And I thought they did a pretty good job. They did a good, fair job, but they still want to make
keywords anti-government.
Yeah, they want us to be anti-government, but they did a better job. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Now I've got a video where I interviewed both the reporters, one Brian from the RJ and the other fella come from the Sun, and I told them, I challenged them that don't come back here and print all this stuff, and do you know what really this is all about? And so I challenged them to really do not put out the same garbage it's we're used to from mainstream. And I think Bryan did a real good job from the RJ. My sister and my brother-in-law both worked there, and my mom worked at the RJ. So they did a lot about suing for the information during the trials. I think they've been an ally. And of course, the same old rhetoric runs in the mainstream press. But Bryan, you did a really fine job. Thank you.
Now, reminded me about the lawsuit. I know RJ, they did sue them, and what was their main subject? You remember what their main subject?
It was on Discovery and some of the stuff that was sealed, but I can't call to mind right now exactly.
The courts hid and never exposed the truth. And I know RJ was after one particular thing. I can't remember quite what it was.
Yeah.
But there was things like where the government claimed that there were no snipers. They claimed that there were no cameras, and they claimed that there were no FBI, and they did all of these things. But the court just went on for it went on for a long time. But when we really got in front of the courtroom, in front of the judge, I always said, if we'd have been there for 2 more hours, we'd have exposed many more things. We'd have really whipped the federal government. But they closed that trial down really fast. And when we got out of court, I spent 700 days in jail. And when I walked out of that jail house, I was still never even had as much as a misdemeanor charge left on me, so I walked out of there totally clean.
What did people think about when they offered to let you go with conditions, and you said you come in a free man, you'll leave the same way? What did people that you was in jail with they think about? Did you get any people? Are you crazy or?
Well, yeah. What we're talking about is they give me the chance to get out of jail, but they want to put monitors on me and cuffs, whatever. And I said no. I said when I come in here as a free man, and when I leave, I'm a free man. So most all of the other defendants walked away and had time outside of the jail, but I went back to the jail, went back in, and of course the people that was in prison with me up to Prump, they thought I was turned loose, and when I come back, they couldn't believe that I refused that escape. But what tickled me probably more about it than anything is my lawyer. He tried to get me to take the deal, and I remember there was somebody helping Ryan, a woman. She even offered me to go to her house if I'd get out of there. And so there was, and my wife, she was crying. She thought I was going to get released, and so did my children.
Thanks, Cliven. We'll hang it up right here.